Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 11 of the SchleshRaz podcast. Uh, Obviously, it's been a long time.
I think 7 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the channel's coming up on its 1 year anniversary,
Yep.
and 7 months of those were completely inactive.
Yeah.
We have good reason though. I mean, we
Lots of stuff.
we got busy.
Yeah, it happens.
I've moved 3 times in the past 6 months, so that's a thing. Some big life changes though. Obviously, you have 2 children, so
Yeah, that's just it for me.
yeah.
That takes a lot of time.
I mean, I have 2 puppies now, so
Yeah, that's like the same thing.
same exact thing. One's just
Except,
one's more hairy.
yeah, that's about the only difference, really.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna kind of get back right into the swing of things with the podcast, at least. As I'm sure you guys have seen, we have had content going up on the channel the past 2 weeks.
All 3 of you.
Yes.
Even though there's 37, but still, we'll say 3
37,
still.
but about 6 watch per video, so I'll take it.
Something.
But no, it's nice to come back and have the same amount of views that we did before. We didn't lose any viewership after 7 months.
That's
so
called
saying
it's called
something.
loyalty.
That is loyalty. You guys are the best fans out there. But no, the content's been going up. I'm teaching myself how to edit, spending a lot of time editing, as Jay can attest to.
Yeah.
Trying to learn the ins and out of Adobe and all that kind of stuff. But no, it's fun. Obviously, I've been doing all the editing and doing all the uploads because Alaska internet over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're back. Don't exactly know where I was, but we'll just kind of pick up from somewhere. But as I was saying, I think we had, we've been putting content up past 2 weeks. Viewership's been the same, but we're gaining some subscribers. I think we are up 10 subscribers since we started uploading stuff again. And
Just
obviously, as of right now, if you're following the channel, you see that me and Jake haven't done any videos together yet. This will be the first video that we've done together in 7 months. That's because of scheduling conflicts, obviously. Kids. I'm on disability right now, so that's why. Oh, hi. That's why I've had time to really get into the editing and stuff, and I'm getting it down to kind of a science now. I could pump out like 3 videos a day on one of my off days when I do go back to work. That's with the editing, not the recording process. But we're going to get back into that after the podcast. We're going to record some footage. Not going to guarantee any structure for when the releases are going to be. I've been trying to do 2 videos a day if it's feasible, if it's an easy editing process. Like, so if you guys have watched the Raz report, that took me about 6 hours total to put together, because I had to go scene by scene and change the gamma and all that kind of stuff, and obviously add all the text and all that. And then MLB, that takes a while to edit, but the Bloodborne boss fights, I basically just copy paste it, change some gamma around if I need to, and it's up within 30 minutes of editing. And same goes for the podcast. The podcast is going to be really easy to edit. We're just going to make cuts.
Yep.
But we're back,
Yep.
and we're excited. We're excited for what the future holds. And our day one fans, when we're very super famous,
Very super famous.
super famous bitch. If anything ever does come of this, which we don't expect it to, but we could dream. If anything does ever come to this, you guys the real MVPs, because you were here with all the shitty content that we were putting out.
Yeah, we're like
nobody knew how to edit. Nobody knew how to do overlays. We literally recorded our videos in Skype with a screen share button. Like, that's how garbage we were. But it had heart. But no, these videos, obviously it's better quality. We're putting a lot more work into it now when we have the time. But I think I think it's going really well so far.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to shut up now because I've been talking for like the past 5 minutes, and Jake, you haven't said much.
No.
So Jake, let's get back into this. What have you been playing this week?
Well, it just so happens that if you haven't been living under a rock, Bloodborne came out last Tuesday, right? I got it at the midnight release, midnight. In Alaska, you get games at 8. So I got it at 8 p.m. on Monday. Played it for a couple hours. I've actually beaten it at this point. I beat it yesterday morning, and I can say it's awesome. Obviously, I'm the one playing the Bloodborne videos and the boss fights.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you
And
ever were
how
wondering.
many hours did you put into it?
About 40 exactly.
Okay.
So they promised a 40-hour game. It was about a 40-hour game. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I'd say it was good. There's a lot of good quality. I've never played much of the Souls games, so I was a little worried I wasn't going to be able to, I wasn't going to have the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, oh, it's not that bad. Once you figure out like the process and all the enemies and the layouts, it's not that bad. Yeah. If I had to rate it, I'd probably give it a good 9. I can't give it a 10. There are some frame rate issues because it is 30 frames per second. So in some areas, and there's some sound issues with certain terrain.
Now
And
the pre-rendered cutscenes are in 60 though, right?
what do you mean?
60 frames per second. Like the cutscenes are 60 frames per second.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Because
But
I did notice that watching some footage on Twitch.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't played it yet, but I know it. I'm pretty familiar.
Yeah.
I've spent
Yeah,
time.
it's weird. I mean, I'm excited because Dark Souls 2 comes out actually Thursday. I'm gonna buy that. I have it pre-ordered because of Bloodborne, and I was like, well, why not? And that's gonna be 60 frames per second. So they're basically making it the PC version of Dark Souls 2 and just porting it to the PlayStation 4 with all the DLCs. So I mean, you can't go wrong.
There you go.
But Bloodborne's really good. I recommend it if you like challenging games. I wouldn't recommend it if you're casual or if you can't get good.
Like me.
Yeah.
Which you've seen from my driving skills in GTA.
Oh man, those are superb.
Yeah. Have you been playing anything else?
I mean, before I played that, I played Grim Fandango on the PS4, which I think is awesome that they added that on there. It's a great game. I played little bits of some other stuff, like that Apotheon game that actually got Game of the Month from Game Informer. It's like a side-scrolling.
Is that the one where you're like a
Greek
caricature in the wall
on like a vase?
Jump out?
No, talking like you're like it looks like you're in a Greek vase.
Oh,
and you fight people.
yeah.
Yep, it's pretty legit. I mean, I haven't played much else besides that. I've been doing some school. I'm almost done with my classes, so that's good. I'm taking the summer off because I don't want to do that.
Yeah. And who knows? I might be going back to school. So, like a big boy. All right, we're back again. But what have I been playing this week? Well, me personally, I've been playing a lot of MLB. I probably put about 8 hours into it. That's the show 15 for those of you who aren't aware. I was a huge fan of MLB 14, especially Road to the Show. MLB 15, I gotta admit, it's almost the same game with Road to the Show. They didn't change anything in Road to the Show. Which was kind of disappointing. Besides, you could get these like licensed equipment stuff where it like gives you a bonus to your character if you unlock it. So I have like some type of glove that gets me like batting gloves that give me +8 clutch. So and that's permanent. You add that to the character, and like if they're wearing that glove, that's the glove that they wear in the game. And yeah, so that's okay, but it's not, they didn't improve enough for me in Road to the Show. Now, franchise, I know they changed some stuff. I haven't played, I haven't played franchise yet, but from what I understand, they changed the off-season like free agency system, so like the bidding is different now, and players actually know that like contract structure matters. So like signing bonus and guaranteed money and all that kind of stuff matter in this compared to the other games where it was just the total number. But with Diamond Dynasty, now I didn't play Diamond Dynasty much in 14, but I might get into it in 15. Basically, you create a player, and that's your utility guy. He could play any position on the field. And as you play, it's not like Ultimate Team or anything like that where you go out and buy packs. I mean, you can buy packs, but you actually earn cards for doing stuff in other game modes. So, like, you say you have a really good game in Road to the Show, you could earn a card. You throw a complete game in franchise, you get a card. And these are real MLB players, you know, bronze, silver, gold, and diamond. And once you get those, they're on your team forever. There's no stamina. In 14, you would get it, and it's like they last for 10 games, and that's it. So you used a lot of like created players. But in this, you only have one created players, and he's your guy. And you can feed him, quote unquote, other cards. So, like, say you have 3 third basemen, and you don't need that many third basemen. Say one of the third basemen's like a power hitter. You give that to your guy, the created player, and his power stats go up.
So he's like a cannibal.
Exactly, but with cards.
Yeah. That sounds logical.
But that's the biggest change. They didn't do enough.
Yeah, kind of figured.
Most people play MLB for Road to the Show. And it would have been nice to see them maybe do something like 2K did with cut scenes after a game, or like you can choose how you want to answer in an interview. Like if you want to answer like all cocky or be humble, or like just something like that. Just give me an option so my guy can have a little personality. And then also I'd like to see, like NBA, like Twitter fans, like how many followers you have. And, you know, if you have a really good game, you know, somebody will tweet you, hey, good job getting that hit. That's how I tweet to professional
Yeah,
athletes.
I kind of miss, like, I remember in Madden where you could get, like, your own little apartment, or, like, an even better ESPN NFL 2K5, where you could decorate your apartment with money you earned from playing the game.
Yeah.
And it was, like, awesome. Or in the old Maddens where it was just you, and you could, like, get better apartments because you got better.
Yeah.
Like,
just something.
I don't like how it's just gone from being like, this is you, to being like, it's you, but you mean he doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I feel like they've just taken steps backwards with all that sort of stuff, and then they're like, oh, look at this Ultimate Team, dump all your money into it. That's really the reason that they don't change anything.
Yeah. And I mean, with Diamond Dynasty, I do appreciate that you can earn the cards from just playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have to pay, but that bugs me about Madden and NBA and all that stuff. They're putting all their resources into
Ultimate Team
and whatever the NBA.
Even NHL has that.
Yeah, because that's the moneymaker. You have people that spend hundreds of dollars a week on cards. It's insane. And I'm sure there's people doing that in MLB, but I don't know. From an overall perspective, if you put out a better product, I think they nailed the Diamond Dynasty this year, by the way. Nailed it. I haven't really gotten into it, but from what I've seen, I've watched some footage on it, I've watched the live streams, that type of stuff. They did good. And they made all the necessary improvements, and I hope they leave it, maybe add a couple more things, and focus instead next year on presentation, Road to the Show, and obviously more stuff with franchise. Because if you do a franchise in MLB, that's your life from then on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't played online either, so I can't comment on whether the laggy issue has been fixed.
That was bad.
That was very bad.
It could just be EA servers. Mm-hmm. They do have issues a lot.
No, it's not EA. It's Sony.
Oh, could just be their servers.
Yeah. But yeah, MLB 15, I would give it, off the top of my head, I gotta give it an 8. It's still a fantastic game. It's still great. Fantastic.
I feel like you're just being too fair.
Uh,
I mean, you said you didn't even like the soundtrack.
I liked the soundtrack. It just wasn't MLB 14 soundtrack.
Sounds like you're giving it a 7, which is fair. 8 is good.
It's a good game, though. I don't know.
Well,
I'm very lenient on my scores.
I wasn't being lenient with Bloodborne. It's a 9. It's fantastic.
Where does that rank on games released so far this year for you?
Oh, it's the number one game this year for me.
No question.
No question. It's nothing. I mean, for the PlayStation 4, probably as a whole, as all exclusives, it's the best exclusive so far, without a doubt. People who are saying it's bad or saying it's easy, like, I don't give a shit what you think. I think it's the best exclusive. Really, what else have we had? Fucking Infamous Second Son. That game was all right at best.
Yeah.
Like, it was good, but it wasn't like, oh my god, this is the greatest. And then all the other games, like fucking what, Killzone? I mean, come on.
Yeah, and then you got like some of the third party games.
I mean, I know. I don't know if the Wolfenstein game is going to be exclusive to the PlayStation, but I did pre-order it, so I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I got to get on that.
I'm excited about that. Grim Fandango. I mean, that was cool, but it's not obviously only for the PlayStation. That was a PC game.
Yeah, I have it on my Steam right now, the remastered version.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. But I mean, that's totally off subject. Bloodborne is definitely the best exclusive. I don't know if at the end of the year I can say that with Uncharted 4 coming out, but as of right now, if Uncharted 4 gets pushed back, which I think it might, just because I still don't have a release date and it's almost halfway through the year, I think Bloodborne might even win Game of the Year. But I say it's going to be hard competition with The Witcher coming out. The Witcher's probably going to be a pretty safe bet to say Game of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about The Witcher, though, I'm not talking crap about The Witcher. The Witcher's like one of my favorite all-time series, but yeah, I guess you could say the same thing for Bloodborne, though. It's niche.
Yeah, especially the Souls series. They have a very specific set of players, and they're usually really, no offense to any Souls players, but they're kind of douchey. Anytime I go on a forum and I read like people's posts, they're so mean to each other for just absolutely no reason. Like just because they're like,
it's not as bad as League of Legends, is it?
Oh no, God,
okay,
no,
okay.
God, no. League of Legends is. If you tried to play that right now, I guarantee you'd get laughed at, and then they just target you the whole time, the entire game. They don't care. Yeah. They just want your life to suck. Yeah. But totally on the subject of RPGs, Bethesda has an E3 booth this year, and I really hope they announce Fallout 4.
Yeah, it's not just a booth; it's a whole presentation.
Oh yeah, they have a presentation,
like a keynote.
It better be Fallout 4, and we all better cry.
Yeah. What has it been 5 years? It's been 5 years since New Vegas.
Damn.
And obviously, they put out Skyrim,
which is one of my top games of the decade.
Yeah, so
for obvious reasons.
They were working on that for a while, so I give them, taking time. But
then they came out with Elder Scrolls Online, and that's pretty much.
I don't think Bethesda developed that, though. They just published it. I think it was ZeniMax.
Oh yeah, you're right. But still, I mean, they could have focused their time on something else.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like some of their published games, like Dishonored, awesome game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they announced the Dishonored 2, I'd probably be like, well, that's fine.
I think that's going to be it. But I don't know. I can't trust anyone anymore.
I mean, you never know. They could just announce another Elder Scrolls game, which I'd also be okay with. But I'd be like, that's a little soon. It only came out 4 years ago.
Bethesda, you need to hire us, because we got this on lock.
Well, you know what they might do? If they're doing an entire presentation, they might do 2 announcements. Or they might have several announcements and then do a major announcement, like, here's a couple games we're publishing, here's a game we've been making. Boom. Blow your brains out with excitement.
I think they should hire us, because I just had a good idea. Do a couple games that you're publishing. Do an announcement. Say Dishonored 2 coming out October or something.
Well, we don't know that, but although I have heard rumors that some people think that might be it, which is plausible.
I'm just using it as an example.
Right.
And then at the very end, like the last 30 seconds, just have, like, on the big screen pop up, like, Fallout 4 and then the
Like,
voiceover, war never changes,
and then have it like,
and then just have it say like spring 2090 or something like that.
yeah. It probably, even if they do announce a Fallout 4, I would say, I'd speculate if they haven't been working on it since Skyrim, it probably won't be out for another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Probably two. I'd say about 2017 is fair, but I mean, we could totally be wrong, and they could say like spring 2016.
It depends on if they're doing a new engine or not.
Mm.
Because you saw the turnaround from Fallout 3 to Fallout New Vegas. What was that, 2 years?
Yeah, they looked exactly the same though, for the
Yeah,
most
because
part.
they used the exact same engine.
Now, the Skyrim engine with like the whole interactive background and stuff, I
Mhm.
like that concept, and I hope they branch off on that so that you can like just do more. Maybe like, I don't know. I'm looking forward to see what they do. I hope the character models aren't as clunky because they really fixed on that in Skyrim, but I think they can improve on it more.
Yeah. See,
And
we
then I'm
know what
looking
we're doing. We played Game Dev Tycoon.
exactly. Well, not even that. I mean, I've played every Fallout. I've played every Elder Scrolls. They've definitely improved over time. Obviously, they didn't make the first two Fallouts. That's fine. But I liked how they did New Vegas just because Obsidian did help, and I think that they could do a lot of good if they do help again. Plus, I know they just hired the lead designer from, what was it, Bungie or Halo?
Yeah,
So
Bungie.
I think that'll help a lot with their gunplay. Not that it had any issues, but you can only improve. Halo has some of the best gunplay out there. I don't care what anybody says.
I would agree with that. It's balanced. Is what.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said balanced, like
It's
balanced.
balanced.
Yeah, that's what we're all hoping for.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do. Fallout's my favorite series, bar none.
Yeah. I would. It's got to be top 3 for me.
Sorry.
What happened?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, your face got all frozen, and I was like, why are you staring into my soul?
Yeah, you were staring at me, so I was like staring back at you.
I was like, did you die? But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens at E3. I'm hoping somebody like Kingdom Hearts, what is it, 4, 3?
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, I'm like, where's that at? I'm not gonna lie, I love the crap out of that series. It's fun.
I think 2015 leading into first quarter 2016 is when the PlayStation 4 exclusives are going to take over.
Mm-hmm.
We were
we were talking about that the other day.
Yeah, we were talking about it the other day, and I said, "Oh, now that Bloodborne's out, you think PS4 is winning the console wars?" No, it's Wii U because the console exclusive exclusives for Wii U are way better, but the sales aren't there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
What were the figures for Wii U? Like 6 million or 9 million?
They've sold like 9 million units of the Wii U. Yeah, they sold 21 million units of the PlayStation 4, but the PlayStation 4 has only one game rated over 90, whereas the Wii U has about, I think, like 20. I mean, realistically, though, this is Nintendo. Like, that's going to happen. But they did have some exclusives like Bayonetta 2. Like, a lot of people were pissed off that was a Wii U exclusive because Bayonetta 1 was a pretty good game.
Yeah, it was very good.
And I mean, they're coming out with, what is it, like Legend of Zelda? It's like a world, like a big open world Legend of Zelda. Well, I mean, they're all open world, but you know what I mean.
I was reading, though, that got pushed back.
Okay.
I think. I can't be positive. I think I just saw a tweet or something like that. It got pushed back, but the problem now is because that was going to be their big game this year, obviously. The problem now is their exclusives are like completely barren for the rest of the year. They don't have the Wii U doesn't have barely anything for the rest of the year.
Well, it's not going to help Nintendo.
That I'm aware of.
I know they if they did like go bankrupt, this is Nintendo we're talking about, but they are quite a bit in the hole. They already said that they just shut down. They wouldn't sell their rights off to anybody. They're not going to go the way of Sega. They're just going to go the way of the sinking Titanic.
I mean, I think they're doing fine though, because what did they make? $20,000 per person off of the amiibos.
Yeah, but I mean, 20,000 per person. I mean, a lot of people do like those, but they're essentially the same thing as those little character dudes that you can buy. No. Oh, is that what those are? Amiibos?
Yeah, that you set them on like the Wii U gamepad and they'll like pop up in the game. So like, say you're saying super. I think I just had a stroke. I don't know what that was. Say you're playing Super Smash Brothers. You put in your Zero Suit Samus, and She pops in
Damn.
the game. Yeah, and they keep their stats. So like you level them up in games and stuff like that.
Damn. Didn't know that. But obviously, I'd say like once the year's over, PlayStation might have a bigger edge. Obviously, there's going to be those Xbox One fans who are like Xbox has better exclusives, but I haven't seen it. They haven't. I mean, Halo isn't really that great of an exclusive. Like, I mean,
It
we've
used
already
to
had.
be, but I haven't played a
Yeah,
Halo game since ODST. Or no,
I saw.
Reach.
I saw the newest one. My friend played it in tech school when I was there, obviously, and we both beat it. And it was just the ending was stupid. The game was way too short, and I was like, "This is awful." Like the last one I enjoyed was ODST.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Halo's lost its luster for me. That could just be though that I'm maturing as a
It could just
human
be that
being and a
I,
gamer.
I played the crap out of Halo 2, and then when Halo 3 came out, I was like, "Oh my god!" But then afterwards, it was like, "Eh."
Yeah. Yeah. I went to the
I have
midnight release of Halo 3 and then
it was it was a big deal.
I think Reach I got like 2 years after it came out for like $20.
Yeah, I bought ODST for like $10 off
Yeah.
the discount rack.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's just because I've started to transition away from first person shooters like solely.
I've noticed that a lot with me.
I don't play Battlefield anymore, like at all, and I love Battlefield. I think it's way better than Call of Duty. Anybody can challenge me on that one. Tell me why Call of Duty is better, and I'll agree with you. But Battlefield has everything that Call of Duty doesn't, and it's always been a better series from when it started on the PC till now. It's always been better.
Yeah. I
I
agree.
mean, you can argue that the first couple Call of Duties were great. Like I love Call of Duty 3. It's probably my favorite one. But sorry, went through puberty there.
Yeah.
But Battlefield's always had the vehicles have always made it better. I mean, you can't crash a bomber into a person in Call of Duty,
Yeah.
but you can do that in Battlefield. Plus, I mean, it always looked better to me, and it didn't feel as arcadey. It always felt more like this is like sort of more realistic. But
Absolutely.
I haven't really played a Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2. Maybe Black Ops.
I played Black Ops 2. I played Ghosts. I haven't played Advanced Warfighter or whatever it is. No, Advanced Warfighter was Ghost Recon. Advanced Warfare was, damn, that's confusing.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, I agree with all of that. Wii U's winning right now, but not in sales. PlayStation 4 looks like it's going to clean up this year.
Oh, it's going to clean up the console war for sure. I know Xbox 360 pretty much had it last time, but that PlayStation 4's, they've pretty much. It's just because the Xbox had a bad launch. They really fucked themselves. Excuse my language, sorry. They really messed themselves up because of just their attitude with their release, and then they go back on everything they're saying. Like you're not gonna just have what you want. Like obviously, people are still a little burned about that, so they bought PlayStation 4s, and now they're not gonna go back.
That's why you and I got PlayStation 4s.
Exactly why, because I was like, well, that's stupid. And then they went back on what they're saying. I was like, I don't really want to go with a company that's not going to keep its word all the way through, because how am I going to know if they're just going to switch back?
Yeah. I did it, which is probably going to be the way that I do it with this console generation as well. If anything freaking comes out for the Xbox. But when the PlayStation 4 was announced, I went out and I got a PlayStation 3. I got most of the exclusives that I needed to play. And it was great. It was great because I got to see, all of them were updated. They weren't buggy at all because they had been out for years. And everything was a new experience for me. And that was one of the best things I've ever done, was got a PS3 at the end of life. Without that, I wouldn't have been able to experience Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, both made by Quantic Dream. But just all the Uncharted, all that. Like, there were great exclusives on the PS3. And I feel like Sony gets it with maturing with gamers.
Yeah, which is an issue.
PlayStation 1, a lot of kids games, a lot of platformers, a lot of this, a lot of that. PlayStation 2, a lot of shooters, a lot of sports games, a lot of this. PlayStation 3, half shooters half, adventure, story driven. PlayStation 4 so far, with the exclusives at least, have been very story driven, very mechanically sound, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Whereas Xbox to me, original Xbox, shooters and sports. Xbox 360, shooters and sports. Xbox One, shooters and sports. They're keeping the same market share, which could work from a business standpoint. Keep that 14 to 24 age range.
Right. But there's going to be time when all those gamers that you did have in the 360 era, they're going to grow up. And the big thing for me is that I've noticed that my drive to play just any game, it's pretty much starting to leave. Like, I really have to be like, oh, I really want that game. Like, obviously, The Witcher, I really want that game because I love the series. Bloodborne, I was like, that looks really sweet, but I'm not just going to go out and be like, nah, I might pick this up. It's just not the way I am anymore. Like, for example, the Gears of War series, if I tried to play that now, I guarantee you I probably couldn't. As much awesome as it was when I was younger, it's just, that's because I was younger. Now it's like, no, but don't get me wrong, they did have good stories. Gears of War 3 had some of the best scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the games like The Order, I mean, it's a shooting game. It has a good story. People downgraded it because it was short.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand that. They should have made it like $40 or something, but obviously they wouldn't do that. But it has a mature topic, talks about a lot of stuff. Bloodborne's a very mature topic. It's a very mature atmosphere. It's not something kids should be playing.
For kids, yeah.
I definitely would say I don't recommend getting it for your kids. I don't want to be that guy, which we're going to talk something about that, but I don't think it's something that you should have your kids play because it's a very serious content. It's very dark, it's very gory, and for me, I know when I was young, I was very impressionable, and that's not something you want them to be impressioned with, or else they'll end up crazy, maybe.
My parents, see, that's why I'm like this. That's why this happened right here. Because my dad sat me down when I was like 6 years old, and he's like, we're going to watch Indiana Jones. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Yay! It was great. Up until the final scene that scarred a 6-year-old for life with people melting.
Yeah, with the Ark of the Covenant.
That was terrifying for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, it's one of those things. Just, yeah. Well, like Jake said, we don't want to be those guys. But
yeah, I don't want to be that guy. I mean, when I was younger, my grandma made me watch horror movies from about the time I was 5 years old till the time. Now I'm messed up, man. I'm crazy. I read all sorts of scary crap and write scary crap.
Grandma, I don't want to watch it. You're going to watch it and you're going to like it. It'll make you a man.
Yeah, scary stuff, man. But obviously, I remember when I was younger, my dad had a sort of similar talk. Sorry.
You're all right there.
But my dad had a similar talk. He sat me down one day. I was playing. It was right around the time San Andreas came out, and everybody was in a big uproar, huge uproar about San Andreas because it was just so bad. Even though I played it years later and it wasn't. But off subject, he sat me down and he was like, "Look." Anyway, so we're back. Yeah. My dad sat me down. He said, "Look, I know you want to play these games. I'm fine with that, but you need to understand that it's not real because there were people blaming kids being a little deranged on video games when it was probably just their kid was a dick, and he was stupid. Like that time those kids drowned because they thought SpongeBob was real. I never thought of that stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm not hating on somebody who's dead, but it takes some common sense to figure this out. And if you're not born with it, you're not going to have it.
Or
that's just the way it is.
The girls right across the border in Wisco that stabbed their friend 27 times for Slender Man.
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that. This stuff's not real. You have to understand, this is a fantasy world. They're all fantasy worlds. None of it happens. Shadow of the Colossus is not going on right outside.
Okay? Although if it did, we'd be in for a show.
Yeah, and then again, you'd also have to deal with the depressing story. But I'm not going to get into that because if you haven't played it, you should. But video games are not real. Movies aren't real unless it says it's based on a true story. Even though then it's probably still bullshit. But regardless, I'm done with my rant. But just tell your kids that this crap's not real and don't make them watch something if you don't think they're ready for it.
Yeah. See, I had a different experience growing up, which is going to be our children's experience with video games because my dad was and still is an avid gamer. Some of my first memories were me 2 years old, sitting on his lap while he was playing games. The one that the original Half-Life. I remember that vividly, and that was not okay for a 4-year-old.
No, that game's crazy.
Like the head crabs and the zombies with their. I mean, graphically speaking, now looking back, it's like, oh, what the? But like that was advanced graphics at the time, and that was very, very rough. The chests were split open. You could see all the organs and stuff like that. People would explode into giblets. That's because my dad was a gamer. I grew up with it, and it was always, Anthony, you could watch this, you could play this. Some games I could play, other games I wasn't allowed to play, obviously, until I was like 13. You could watch this, you could play this, but like your dad was saying, it's not real. My dad kind of went with the way like, well, if it's a scary game and it's going to give you nightmares, that's on you. But which, looking back, probably wasn't the best thing to do, but whatever.
I don't know. I mean, it just depends on the game. Like, I had nightmares from like Mercenaries. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't. But
for some reason, I had nightmares that like the Koreans were coming for me. Like I was some weird veteran sitting in my bed. But yeah, my dad wasn't a gamer, so it was just something like I'm one of the only people, probably the only person in my family who actually plays video games. So I was always like, why don't you go outside and do something? And I'm like sitting there playing RuneScape for the 6th hour, and I'm like, what? I'm trying to get this fish, Dad. Come on, shut up.
Yeah.
Like that was me. I was like 300 pounds at one point because all I did was play online games like Guild Wars and RuneScape.
Yeah. Speaking of 300 pounds, I am no longer 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big stuff.
45 pounds since November.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting there.
He's doing good works. I saw him when he came up here around that time, and he was a pretty big boy. And then when I went back home, he was much smaller. So he's definitely improved. But we had some topics we wanted to discuss. It's almost 6:30 here, and I kind of wanted to play some Bloodborne later.
Yeah. All right. So let me pull up these articles, and we will go over this. Oh, not my Facebook. All right.
We'll talk about your Facebook.
Yeah, we're gonna just continue in with that the parents and video games thing right here. This is coming out of England, and it's kind of a big deal in the scheme of things when you look at laws and legislation that could possibly be passed, or either way, whichever way this goes. This could be big. So, like, if they make legislation one way or the other. School principals threaten parents with police if kids play Grand Theft Auto. A principal, and it went out to about 16 schools in England. By the way, I'm getting this article off of cnet.com, so sources.
Sources.
But basically, the gist of it is, if a student is talking with their classmates about a game they've been playing that is rated 18 plus.
Yeah, Peggy 18 plus.
And a administrator or teacher hears it, they will report the parents to the police and social services for child neglect. And this goes all the way up to 17 years old. It's not just, I mean, I can understand if, like some kindergartner's like, I fucked this hooker, and like, no, like, okay, then maybe just have a talk with the parents, but yeah.
I think we skipped, I don't know what it is about this generation, but we skipped the era where we talk to people and we just go straight to the punishment. Like, as a parent myself, I think it's kind of bullshit that they would even consider that. Like, you should talk to me first before you think that you have a right to, say anything about my kid. And not to mention the fact that it's probably the kid's fault. Like, when did we stop blaming kids for being dumbasses? Like, it's not always the parents' fault that their kid's a dick. Like, some kids are just dicks.
Yeah.
I grew up with kids who were dicks in kindergarten, and they were dicks when they got older. Like, that's just the way they are. Like, that's not their parents' fault. They had awesome parents. They're just assholes.
Yeah.
I mean, It's not the parents' fault all the time, and I can guarantee you it's not. I've met so many kids who had like awesome parents, but they were just douches.
And then you could even say, their brother turned out great or something like that, and they
Yeah,
raised them the same way. It's just,
yeah.
it's inherent. Like, people are inherently good or evil. I know that's taking extremes, but like
That's very
people
humanist of
people
Anthony,
are
but yeah.
very they're inherent
Yeah,
decent or shitty. I'll leave it at that.
yeah. I would say I'd agree with that.
They're
But
just shitty people sometimes.
only because I've seen it. Like I
Mhm.
wouldn't say like that. Like just because oh yeah, I agree. Like no, I've seen like that. Some people are just assholes for the sake of being so, and there's good people, but the assholes really do outnumber the bad people or the good people.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so the big thing here is if this goes to British Parliament, and first off, if somebody gets the first time somebody gets fined or arrested for this is
Hmm.
going to be a big deal because then it would have to go to court, and they would have to determine if somebody getting if a parent allowing their child with their knowledge or not, but I can see the point where you should know what your kids are playing.
Exactly, that's true. But then again, you never know what your kid. If your kid's a computer whiz, he can download whatever he wants.
Exactly. But I see the point. Supervision needs to happen and stuff, which yes, it does. But if it should be the parent's decision whether their kid can play a certain game or not, or watch an adult or R-rated movie. I don't know what it is over in England.
I don't know if it's the same thing or not.
But the thing is, say that goes to Parliament, and they pass legislation saying yes, that's child neglect. Then, because video games and movies over there and TV are very similar with legislation with how it works,
Hmm.
they would have to include movies and TVs in that.
Hmm.
So if your 16-year-old watches an R-rated movie, that's child neglect.
Yep.
It's I don't know. It's getting to the point where it's becoming less for the people and more censorship.
Yeah, it seems to be that way across the board, like in every country. Like people
Mm.
just they want everybody to just be like dumb little drones and just go to work, give them some taxes, and then go home and sleep, and then wake up and do it again, which isn't going to be the way it is. And I know here in America, uh, if something like that were to happen, there'd be some serious issues. I mean, obviously the nerd community can't do too much, but I'm sure there's some hackers in the nerd community who'd be a little, you know, a little handsy. If you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that that's like a threat, but it would
Well,
be
I mean,
bad.
yeah, you could compare it to Americans as a whole,
Yeah.
like the gun laws.
Yeah, that's not going over well. I think those are bullshit. And I don't know. A lot of the stuff that's going on in the government, obviously I can't say too much about it.
Yeah,
But I think it's a little ridiculous. This is totally off the subject of video games. But
we're getting
um,
political.
what I use
Say
to
goodbye to
protect
half our
myself,
viewership.
what I do to protect myself is none of the government's business. If an illegal, like a gang member, gets a gun illegally and you take mine away, that doesn't really make sense. He's not going to stop. Nor does ISIS want jobs. I think our government is stupid. I think they're all just a bunch of dumbass white people, which I mean, they're mostly white, so I can say that. Even in general, they're just a bunch of dumbass people who are so stuck in ways of like 1950 that they can't see that the world around us has changed and we're getting, sucked into it. Like this isn't World War II anymore. Like we're not on top of the shit. We haven't won a war since fucking like Korea, and that was a ceasefire. So I mean, like you
Yeah,
can't count a war as a victory if you're retreating and the
yeah.
enemy's still there. Like, I mean, this is just the facts.
Well, I
Like,
mean, unless you're George W. Bush, then you can just say, what was it? It was like halfway through the campaign, he was like, "We won."
well, I mean, he had good reason. We took the ground and within like a week. But the real issue with all these wars is we're fighting enemies that just have so many people dotted around. It's almost impossible to rat them all out. Like we can beat them on the bulk, and if they ever did try to go like full out assault, it would be over in days. But they don't attack like that. That's not what they do
Yeah,
because they know they can't do that. ISIS, however, is gaining strength. For whatever reason, people in America think they can go over there and help a cause that makes no sense and beheads people. But I'm going to stop on now that because this isn't a political podcast; it's a gaming podcast. But that was kind of in the window of what we were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, games are part of culture, and
Yeah.
culture mixes with politics.
Yeah.
But like I was saying before your epic rant,
Yeah, it was pretty epic.
yeah, if that were to happen in America, this is the same country, and I'm going to use the words of Jim Jeffries, the fantastic Australian comedian here. America is the same country that when all those little kids were shot up at Sandy Hook, the government was like, maybe we'll take the big guns away. And everyone went berserk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, he was saying that in Australia, there was a huge massacre. It was the worst massacre in the history of mankind, like a shooting type deal. And Australia was just like, okay, no guns. And everybody in Australia was like, okay. And hugged a kangaroo or whatever. I don't know what they do.
Well, yeah, but I think it's just because it's our Second Amendment right, and a lot of people take that very seriously. Although I guarantee you they couldn't name what any amendment was after the Second Amendment because that's all anybody ever quotes. They're like, I have the first Second Amendment. And I'm like, what about the other 20-something? I don't know how many there are. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are amendments to amendments.
And we're back. So moving on from that very political SchleshRaz statement.
Yeah.
Moving on to something a little lighter, still kind of sad. OnLive gaming service to switch off after Sony deal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you guys don't know what OnLive is, you must be pretty young. No, it was about 5 years ago, something like that. Maybe 2008. I don't know.
Yeah, we have 6-year-olds on this channel.
If you remember that commercial, what is cloud gaming?
God, it was awful.
That was OnLive. So it's shutting down. They were just acquired by Sony. They were free falling. They were doing terrible. Nobody used OnLive.
No.
They were once valued at $1.8 billion. And I believe they sold the technology for, where is this? They sold the technology for less than $5 million.
Damn.
And that was in 2012. And then they were acquired. I don't know how much they were acquired for. I can't find that information by Sony, but Sony now owns them, and I'm sure they're going to use that technology for PlayStation Now. But yeah.
Which is a pretty sweet thing.
Yeah, it is. Jake and I have used it. It works really well.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it was just in like the baby stages, but it's I think it's another reason that Sony has really won. It's going to win the generation. Like they're just doing things like that. Like,
they're, like we said, they're maturing. They're advancing in every front.
I feel like they care more. I mean, obviously Xbox is owned by Microsoft, and I've never felt like Microsoft was really the company that gave a crap about its customers. Yeah. Considering what they do with the operating systems, they're like, well, you either upgrade or we're just going to cut you off. I mean,
yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah. But I think that about wraps it up.
Wraps it up. Yeah, that was a good podcast.
That was a very good podcast.
Good times.
It's good to be back, guys.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
That's definitely a thing. So we'll leave it off at that.
Yep.
Thank you so much for watching. If you stuck around this whole video, I don't know how much I'm going to edit this down to. I know we have about an hour recorded.
Damn.
But we took a lot of like 5 to 10 minute pauses in there because I don't live alone, and yeah. But yeah, we are really happy to be back. Speaking on behalf of Jake here, I don't know if he's happy to be back or not.
It's all right.
Whatever. But no, it's good to be making content again. It's good to be creating for you guys, our 37 fans, and
hey, man. Hey.
You never know.
More than we started off with.
The day, if we ever hit 100 subscribers, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I'd say that was a job well done.
Yeah. But we won't like shut it down at 100 subscribers or anything.
We're gonna be like,
we're done.
It's good.
Yeah.
We're out.
But no, that's really all we needed to say.
Yeah.
And like I said, thank you for watching. Go ahead and click the subscribity button wherever that is. I don't know how YouTube was laid out anymore. It's probably down there.
We'll just point down and say it's there.
There or there or there or there. One of those places.
Ooh.
But yeah, that was SchleshRaz podcast episode 11. After 7 months off, I say that went pretty well.
Yeah, it's gonna be like the LeBron James return video. That's how big this was.
Yeah, that's what it felt like when like it felt like the decision when you texted me just randomly, like we were just talking. He's like, I want to start making YouTube videos again. I was like, me too. And that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we got back.
And then one day someone's going to be like, how are you very super famous people so very super famous? And then we'll look at each other, and then the glint will rise in our eyes, and we'll remember this day.
This day right here.
Nope.
This is forever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But that's it.
Yeah.
Any parting words, Jake? I feel like I've kind of taken over the conclusion.
Don't do drugs.
I mean, if you really want to, it's not our
business.
If
you want to, no one's going to say anything, but maybe avoid the meth. Yeah.
But thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys maybe next week? Question mark?
Yeah, it might be a bi-weekly thing. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm a little busy. I'm coming towards the end of my school year, and I have a lot of finals and stuff, so we'll see.
You'll have a lot more time after that, though, and obviously, well, here's the deal. I'll just let you guys know what's going on. I'm on a cane. I messed up my ankle badly. That's why I'm not at work. I'm on disability right now. I go in for the MRI Monday, and they're going to determine if I need surgery or not. Now, if I don't need surgery, it's going to be another 2 to 4 weeks recovery because there's Joey. It's going to be another 2 to 4 weeks recovery because something's not right with it. It's stopped healing. But if I do need surgery, I'll be off of work for another 3 months because I have a very labor-intensive job. So if that's the case, the silver lining in that I have to get surgery and everything and pay a lot of money and all that is I'll be able to focus on this completely.
Mm-hmm.
Not have to worry. I'll be getting income from disability. Obviously, not what I should be making. Because it's a lot less than what you make by working. But no, if there's always a silver lining and stuff, everybody, that's my message to you today. Keep your heads up. Look at the bright side. All right. That's it.
Yeah.
SchleshRaz, I don't know why that was a salute. SchleshRaz out. That's the official SchleshRaz salute now. Here, side of the head at the temple, thumb in, just go. Just hit yourself and fly out. And duck face while you do it.
Yep.
All right. Thank you guys for watching.
Of course.
Bye-bye.
Space butterfly, watching the world take to the sky. Everything early but a sign. Kaleidoscope, built by your mind, built by your mind, built by the mind of one known so open to find an army of butterfly. Space butterfly, watching the world as we change the sky. Everything perfect.
All right, let's get back to this. I don't even know where we were.
We just started. You were saying like we were just getting back into the thing, and then you were like, hold on.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. All right. Fuck it, we're doing it live. Okay. We're back. I'll do that again because you were talking over me, you asshole. God damn it, Jake. What the fuck? I'm trying to do a high-quality show here. You keep interrupting me.
I can't help it.
All right. But no, it's shit. We'll make a cut here.
Okay.
I just completely lost my train of thought. What have I been playing this week? Okay. What?
You're just like,